What is up, watch friends? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. Ask the Magic Watch Ball. I'm Tony. This is the Magic Watch Ball. For those of you who are new subscribers or haven't seen the Friday Q&A, it's basically just that. It's a Q&A with a sense of humor about people in the watch industry who think they have a crystal ball, who can predict everything, but they can't. But then they say they don't have a crystal ball, but then they do because they're trying to predict everything, but then they don't really have a crystal ball. But I've got a magic watch ball, and it is turning into be about 88% accurate 67% of the time. Today I am wearing my Zenith El Primero Pilot 2023 release from Zenith. It's an outstanding watch. Anyway, let's roll the intro and we'll get into the questions. Okay, so the way this works is you ask the watch ball a question, the watch ball answers, and then I give my 2 cents worth. Simple as that. The watch ball is a smart ass and can be kind of mean sometimes, so again, it is what it is. So if you have a question that you want featured on the Magic Watch Ball Q&A Fridays, just leave a comment, ask a question, and I'll answer it, and the watch ball will answer it. So the first question comes from a regular viewer of mine, Ned Flanders. Please to ask Tech Watch Ball, probably in a German accent. Please to ask Tech Watch Ball, should I seek professional help for my watch addiction? I think I might have a serious problem. Okay, should he? You think you have a problem? You ought to see the guy sitting on the couch here. Yes, seek help. Yeah, it's not wrong. I have a serious... I'm actually going through some shit right now because between you and me, and if Juan sees this, I just got a text last night from Juan. A Rolex that I do really want came in last night. He doesn't work today, so Saturday I would go pick it up. I only really requested it 4 days ago. I don't think I can do it, man. Just not, don't know. Am I that dumb? Am I going to put all that money on my credit card and not be able to pay the credit card off? You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer of, and I'll preach, don't get into debt over a watch. Don't get into debt over a watch. I usually buy a watch, pay it with my credit card, and I just pay the credit card off in full. And that's how I do it. But in this case, right today, as it stands, I don't need to have that kind of money just sitting on my card, you know what I mean, with the interest building, whatever. I mean, that's what's going through my head today. All right, same. Ned Flanders asks me, what's the best micro brand? The best micro brand is the one you trust. That's it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's got a point. Yeah, you have to trust the brand, you know. There's so many micro brands out there, and there's some good ones, and there's some, I don't know, not so good ones, just like anything. But you have to make sure that if, you know, like for instance, make sure if you're going to be looking for a micro brand, make sure to do some research, you know, learn the product, know the product, check the reviews. How long have they been in business? If it's a business they've only been in business for a year and they've got 5-year warranties on their watches, they may not be around in 5 years if something goes wrong. They may not be around in a year from now. Just what's their reputation? You know, if you see a brand you like, just do some research on it. There's, for instance, a brand in England called Fears. I think they're still a micro brand. They're expensive, but they're decent watches, and they started, you know, they got the same history as a lot of these brands. It's like, oh shit, we didn't realize we had a company 150 years ago, and now I'm rehashing it, which it happens a lot, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we have all this heritage and history, when it's just like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? It's like your great-great-great-grandfather had an idea because you found a sketch of him drawing a picture of a watch in the basement, you know what I mean? That does not make a watch company. But in, like, for instance, there are brands out there, Baltic, do some research on them. They're a French brand. Again, I said Fears, they're a British brand, but they were legit back in the day, and they just kind of rehashed, so many years later. Went out of business in '76, and I think they came back in 2016. I might be wrong, but I don't know a lot about those brands. So yeah, just do some research on them, and you'll find something. Couldn't really tell you. I'm not a huge micro brand dude. Okay, here, this one comes from KP. Magic watch ball question. I'm trying to figure out how to approach my AD for the first time. My current dream pieces are a Batman on oyster or stainless black Daytona. Obviously, these pieces are some of the most desirable. Would an AD just laugh at me and consider it disrespectful to go in and ask about those watches? I've come close to going in a few times, but don't want to blow my chances of getting a watch if I come off the wrong way. Dude, it's a tough one, bro. So you're approaching your AD. So I guess what you're saying is you have an AD close to where, that would be your AD, but they're not your AD as of yet because you haven't purchased from them. You haven't been in there, maybe. That's what I'm going to assume. And I don't know where in the world you are sending me this from, what part of the world you're in, because some places are more, conservative than others, you know what I mean? So in my AD, I can walk in and go, yo, what's up, fuckers? And I'm cool. But you walk into a place in, Salt Lake City, and they might tell you to get out, which has actually happened to me in Salt Lake City at an AD. So fuck you ADs in Salt Lake City. Sorry, just my opinion. Be careful when you are when someone walks into your store that kind of dresses like this, because they may be the guy that fucking buys a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And the guy walking in with a suit and tie might be actually, working at the movie theater, dreaming about something, when the guy who actually has the cash could have bought something. Simple as that. That's just a lesson to you ADs who are snobby, snooty, and whatever, So I'm just gonna do this. See that? Anyway, back to your question, man. Sorry about that. Just went on a little rant myself. Yeah, man. Okay, so go in and talk to them. It doesn't do any harm to talk. Simple as that. All right, man. So yeah, you just go in. Yeah, you're not going to get those watches. I can just straight up tell you. I mean, you might be that lucky guy, because there has been stories where I just walked in and they sold me a Daytona, and then they sold me a Batman, and it was, I've heard them all. So that, that might be the case, but for the most part, that's not the norm. So, you're looking at you're setting your goals way too high. Well, your goals are fine, but you're setting the standard way too high from the start. You know what I mean? It's like if you were a race car driver and you just got into professional race car driving, and now all of a sudden you're in the Daytona 500 and you expect to win the Daytona 500 when you've got all these other drivers that have, you know what I mean? That it's just not going to happen unless, every car on the field sort of blew up. That's what happened, I think, with Danica Patrick, how she won the Indy 500 was, basically every car on the field broke down and she just skated through the finish line and got first place. She didn't really, did she really win? I don't know, that was years ago. Dude, it doesn't hurt to go in and talk to him and say, hey, look, this is my goal. I ultimately want a Pepsi or a Batman and a Daytona, but, you've got to start somewhere, dude. They might laugh at you after you walk out of this store. They're not going to laugh in your face, and they're not going to consider it disrespectful. How dare you come in here and ask for a Rolex Daytona? That's just not like that. You just, look, dude, go in. I've made a living at just being able to in the music industry is almost like kicking open doors and saying, when you say no, I'm just going to keep coming. And that's in a different way, though. There's a right way and a wrong way to do these types of things. So go in, talk to them, man. Just tell them what you're looking for. You know, is there anything you want to buy? Any other watches? You can't just say you want a Daytona or a Batman and then nothing else on the world. You know what I mean? Start small, work your way up. I say go in, talk to them a little about watches. Say, hey, look, I do love the Daytona. I want to get, but I, you know, maybe it's not in the cards right now. But what you can show me something else, like not maybe in the Rolex line. You know, something, another brand possibly. Because if I were you and you were going to start Rolex, I'd start with OP or Datejust. Simple as that. All right, man. Appreciate your question. I really do. This is from JJJFFFPPP. If I may be so bold to ask the beloved Watchball another question, what is your opinion on Grand Seiko? Don't have one. Don't care. It's a Seiko. It says Seiko on the dial. Nothing wrong with Seiko. But is grand really grand? Sometimes the watch ball doesn't make sense. But I agree. Dude, I don't know. I mean, they don't, one way or another. I mean, to me, if I'm walking around and a watch that says Seiko on it, I would rather spend $1,000 on a Seiko than, you know, 6 or 7 or higher on a Grand Seiko. I mean, I get it with their spring drive, whatever movement it is that they came out with, and they do have nice finishing. They do have nice dials, but I don't know, man. I don't think very highly of them, and it's just because I'm not into them. I just don't. There's nothing that appeals to me about them. I just look at them and go, okay, whatever. So anyway, that's all the questions I have for today, and you know, I appreciate everyone who watches my videos and who likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bye.